guys, it's Chris again with another review. This is of the Stache 7 from Trek. It's an amazing bike. I've had it for just under 3 weeks, ridden it every day, and I could not be happier with it. I've noticed that there's absolutely nothing on YouTube that has to do with the Stache 7, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down all the components, give you a pretty thorough review, and then show you a bunch of clips that I just took of myself riding. So I'm just going to go over some general specs here. The bike comes in a lucent orange color, which is basically burnt umber, or a muted orange color. The bike is one of the most unique machines out there because it's one of the only hardtails that is really meant for progressive riding. I wouldn't say downhill, but really vicious, so to speak, riding. It comes with a large fork, 120 millimeters, and RockShox Maxills, which are significantly more durable than normal quick releases. This hardtail is one of the most unique on the market right now because it really is made for a progressive style of riding. Because of this, the bike is really built tough. It comes with a tapered head tube with sealed bearings, RockShox Maxills, which are basically screw-in axles that are much more durable than normal quick releases, 120 millimeters of suspension as opposed to the normal 129-inch wheels. Riding on 29 inches as opposed to 26 really allows you to more easily conquer large obstacles and to also go faster with less effort. Due to the size of the wheels, the bottom bracket is often located slightly below the level of the hubs in either wheel, which lowers your center of gravity and makes cornering easier and gives you a greater sense of security. So let's start up here with the handlebars. They are Bontrager low-riser 31.8 millimeter handlebars, and they're a lot wider than normal handlebars to compensate for the larger wheels. They give you a lot of control and, again, add to that feeling of security. They work great for me, but if you plan on really moving through thickly settled areas, you might want to cut them because they really hinder your ability to move through tight spaces. So up here in the handlebars we have a Bontrager Rhythm Comp 31.8 millimeter 7-degree stem with Avid Elixir 1 hydraulic disc brakes and Shimano SLX 10-speed shifters. The brakes are pretty sweet, I love them. They're on the lower end of the Avid line, and they're a little more plush than I had hoped. But they really work great, and no problems in the rain or any of that, so as of now, I'm very satisfied with them. The real perks of having disc brakes are that you can ride them with a lot less maintenance. You never need to really adjust them because there's no cable to stretch or break. The hydraulic fluid always stays the same volume and all that, so every time you ride, the brakes feel exactly the same. They're a lot more smooth because they're constantly being lubricated by the mineral oil inside, and removing the wheel when you need to change a tire or any of that is really a lot more simple. All you need to do is take the wheel out and remember not to squeeze the brake lever while the wheel is out. Still up here in the front we have a RockShox Recon suspension fork with manual lockout and rebound adjustment with 120 millimeters of travel. These solo air spring shocks are great. For those of you who don't know what rebound adjustment is, it's manipulated by a knob on the bottom of the fork, and really what it allows you to do is change the speed at which your shocks recoil back once you hit an obstacle. The 120 millimeters of travel is really great when you're hitting large obstacles and you need that extra support and cushion when you hit the ground. But for those of you who are planning on using the bike for a more XC type of riding, then you can always put more air into the container in the right stanchion so that the shock is less plush. At the bottom of the suspension fork there are amenities for a RockShox Maxill. It's not a quick release. What it is a screw-in axle that is much wider, much more supportive, sturdy, and rigid. Here we have 29-inch tubeless wheels. The 29-inch part I discussed earlier, but it's important to know about tubeless tires that the tire is glued into the rim. This is supposed to allow a much more sturdy and puncture-resistant structure. I haven't ridden the bike enough to really determine whether this contention is true, but I believe from reviews that I've read online and the people I've talked to that it really does work. The frame on this bike is super sweet. Super sweet. It's a tongue twister. Say that 5 times fast. It's really great. It has internal routing for cables, which allows for a much cleaner look. It has really no functional purpose in terms of riding, except to make the bike look a little more clean than it would have otherwise. The frame is also aluminum, which is extremely strong nowadays, and it is resistant to breakage unless you just, I guess, whack it on something as hard as you can. But it's really great for dropping obstacles, and especially when you're learning. If you land sideways or any of that, you might bend the wheels, but the frame will be okay. Whereas if you have carbon fiber, you should expect your frame to snap. I was a little bit concerned about the color when I got it online. When I looked at it, it kind of looked vomit colored almost, but it's not the case. It actually looks pretty cool. I've gotten a lot of compliments on it, so you'll probably experience the same thing. In the back here, we have an SLX 10-speed Shadow Plus derailleur. I wouldn't say by any means it's impervious to breakage. Stuff always happens. You hit a rock or something and it breaks, but it's more durable than other ones I've had, and I've really observed that. One facet of this derailleur that really tripped me up for a little while, and it's super cool, but I actually didn't notice it until a couple days ago, was the Shadow Plus part, which I had neglected to notice. If you look on the top of the derailleur, there's a word that says on. And if you look right next to the first pulley, you'll see a switch, which I hadn't noticed. If you pull it up to the on position, what it does is it adds more tension to the derailleur, inhibiting chain slap. So if you're really hitting big jumps or rocks, you might want to turn this on so that your bike's a lot quieter and you save the frame. Super sweet, bro. Super sweet, super sweet, super sweet. Up here at the top, we have a Bontrager Evoque seat with a Bontrager seat post. There are amenities made for a stealth seat post if you want them. That is a protracting seat post that uses hydraulic fluid. These are super sweet because they allow you to adjust the height of the seat post without getting off the bike. So if you're riding down the trail and you immediately notice that you're gonna be hitting some jumps and you want to lower the seat post, you can do that from a button on the handlebars. The frame comes with internal routing that allows you to route the hydraulic tube through the frame and up through the seat post so that it's not visible. I hope this was really helpful for you guys, and if you have any questions, feel free to inbox me. I'm gonna show you some videos now I took just to show you how the bike handles and some of the stuff I've been doing with it. I hope this all really helps you, and as always, stay thirsty, my friends.
Deep greedy gugaling abang pylon song.